So how are we doing fighting for freedom, and how do you keep score there? In many places, the prison population is much lower than the U.S. As far as industrialized nation, we have a gigantic prison population, and it's mind-boggling to me to even think about multiple millions of people spending multiple years in jail, especially when I consider our law immoral in many ways. Drinking between the ages of 18 and 21, absolutely a moral activity. Nothing wrong with it. It's something that you can do. If you do it responsibly, it's damn right saintly. It's an amazing thing to do responsibly. Good work. So that is illegal. Smoking pot. Most pot smokers aren't Republicans. They aren't really doing that much damage. They're just staying at home. Short of getting the drugs through illegal means, you're not really doing anything wrong at all, but breaking the law, and you can go to jail for it. Doing any drugs. So when you look at it that way, how do you keep score, and how do you determine whether we're making progress, whether we can stop these things? And on a personal level, the only victory I've ever had against the oppressive forces in reality, in life, is when I applied to change my name to Variable. It was denied, and I got that overturned at a higher court. Now, that's one instance, and it cost me a certain number of hundreds of dollars to do that, right? As well as months of time. But ultimately, over that time, it was just a few hours invested over the months, and it wasn't a big deal. But if I look at the rest of my life, I've gone to jail for graffiti. I've gone to jail for jaywalking. I spent a full day in jail for jaywalking, and I lost my job as a result. I went to jail for purchasing alcohol at the age of 18. I've been to jail for having taken LSD. And, maybe they needed to put me in jail, maybe not, but I'd certainly say that those are instances where the government won, where at least the oppressive forces within the government, you wouldn't say something like the EPA or the Food and Drug Administration really won. Many of those people are just trying to stop infections, trying to warn people about food hazards, that sort of thing. So that has nothing to do with it. But there are oppressive forces within the government, and those forces won and scored points on each of those times. They really took away years of my life, days, months. They caused untold amounts of stress on me and my family. So they win, I concede that. The only one time that I've won is with the name Variable. The name Fuck Censorship, I will fight endlessly, and I've applied to change my name to Fuck Censorship 3 or 4 times. Upcoming on the 10th is another chance for me to get the name Fuck Censorship. A judge may overturn a lower court's decision allowing me access to my name. And until I've freed my identity, obviously the oppressive forces are completely victorious. Much less like controlling my body, being able to control what I do with my time, that sort of thing. Those things are beyond my complete control. I can't micromanage life. Nature controls it. It just happened randomly in many ways. But my name and my identity, I feel I should have complete control of. And so on the 10th, I have a chance to even up the score a little bit and catch up some. But if I don't do it, if I can't, then they win again. It's another point on their side of the scale. If this isn't a productive way of looking at it, you tell me how to look at it, right? How am I supposed to understand a government preventing me from changing my name to something when I'm not committing fraud, when I'm not committing any sort of illegal activity? They haven't just outlawed drugs or outlawed obscenity or anything. They've outlawed you and they've outlawed me. And they will continue to do so indefinitely until we call them on it and push them down, force them to understand that they need to respect people's rights. And if they don't, then they have no business governing anyone, ever. The other thing is, it's really a one-strike rule with governments in many senses, and that's with individuals at least, and politicians it's important. Because once you understand that a person is for obscenity law, you understand that that person is not fit to govern, or fit to run a court, or be a judge. They are not capable of that. And so the people that have done that, Cynthia Fry was one judge that did this, the Supreme Court of New Mexico, and then a variety of politicians. You can see, and this mostly this corruption and this putrescence shows up in the Republican Party. But when you see it, write them off your list. Never go back to them. There's no reason to forgive the people in the world that are out of touch with reality, that are willfully ignorant, lie to you, work against you, and prevent you from claiming the freedom that you should claim. What does that mean for people like Obama? First off, obviously Obama's going to win 2012. People are going to vote for him en masse. I said in my previous channel on Variablast that I was for Obama, that I voted for him, and I did. I had some hope that he might legalize marijuana or might do something moral in that regard. But the truth is, the only thing that I've seen that's promising is that he's shutting down Gitmo and he's quitting the war in Iraq, but not for 3 years. I'm dissatisfied with his presidency, and I'm dissatisfied with a two-party system. I don't know what I have left to do on that level and on that scale. And if it's not on that scale, what scale can we be functioning on? You know what I mean? I guess the local scale. You could locally legalize pot, but then as long as there are federal laws against it, they're still going to punish you. And there's still going to be people in prison for unnecessary reasons. Moreover, I don't know any justices or any politicians at all that think that your name should be freed up, so that even understand this issue and understand that I'm fighting it. The public at large really doesn't either. So, what are you left with? You're left with crossing people off the list. And the sad thing is, if I keep doing this with Fuck Censorship, and I keep getting turned down, there's a point at which I will cross the United States government off the list and the court system. And I will, no longer be able to respect them as people that I can trust to give out any sort of justice, even if it's imperfect. And I don't mind imperfect justice as long as you're trying, but they don't seem to be trying at all. And so, that's what I see in the future if this keeps going this direction. But I'm certainly not going to stop. There's not going to be a point in my life in which I won't have a name change application to the name Fuck Censorship in the courts, because it's just not going to be it's not going to be allowed. I can't have them have my identity. And plus I have plans. After I get the name Fuck Censorship, I'd like to change my name to more creative things. Maybe write a poem, an identity poem. It's very seldom done. I've never seen it done, right? But you could do that. You get about 3 or 4 words to a name. It takes sometimes 12, 16 or less words to construct a meaningful poem that can be powerful. So why wouldn't you do that with your name? It would be a beautiful piece of artwork. You could have the driver's license. They put holes in them. They punch holes when you're done with them. You could have them on a key ring and have a piece of artwork that way. That would be absolutely valuable. But if I can't have the name Fuck Censorship, how could I possibly have the freedom to write a poem that would be meaningful to me without having access to what is a legitimate place? Especially knowing that my identity is intimately mixed up with breaking irrational taboos. So how are we going to break this one down? We need to. And so I'm asking you again, I've never gotten this kind of cooperation from a YouTube audience. And I still haven't on this channel. On Variablast, I only heard the tiniest hint that people would do this. But if you will change your name to Fuck Censorship with me and show solidarity on this issue, you will keep your name ultimately, but we will be able to show that the courts currently censor people's names and show that it's not okay with the populace. And maybe over time we can change that issue. if there's not a time to strike that's now, then I mean, when can we do it? So please go ahead with this and work with me, because I'm in dire need, and I'm worried that the 10th is going to roll around and I won't have it in place. Anyway, peace. Take care.